What the race today? Saka Bahrain F1. The first race of the season was a whole lot of drama, a whole lot of news that we can't finish in one episode. Wow. I've been saying there's no possibility Red Bull will be winning anything this season. I think I might eat my words later, but I won't eat it now. I won't eat my words now because I have a feeling they would not be winning anything this season, except my disappointing Ferrari and disappointing Mercedes are still so disappointing and very, very disappointed. As in, I am very disappointed in that team. But what a redemption! What a wonderful redemption for Aston Martin. Coming eighth last season and coming third in the first race of the season today. Welcome to Exxon Formula One, also known as Formula One Column Africa. My name is Ashifes Oluwadamilare. Max Verstappen won from pole today. It was an amazing race for him. For the first 3 laps, he was taking 6/10 per lap from Charles Leclerc's time on the timing sheet. And 2 others behind him, he was taking close to 8/10 per lap. The tenths, all those terminologies, they are in our shorts, so you can go and watch our shorts. So we have explained, and some are still coming. We've made the explanations of those terms, a lot of terms in Formula One for you, so you can understand and you can follow us and you can enjoy. Now, that's a very strong start for the season, and Red Bull locking out the front row to start the race and also locking out the front row of the championship, 1 and 2, to finish today. It was ecstatic, and the strategies for each team were just off the hook. The undercut, the overcut, especially for Aston Martin undercutting George Russell with Lance Stroll, and Aston Martin overcutting Lewis Hamilton with Fernando Alonso. What a way to pull out and show themselves that they are in the competition to win. And I'm sure Red Bull are on their toes. They are looking at that team like that's the only team they are afraid of this season. I am telling you, because Ferrari are not a team to be afraid of at all. Mercedes are not a team to be afraid of. And I can tell you, with the race going on, Ferrari could not keep up with the 2 Red Bulls. Even an Aston Martin cutting off both a Mercedes and a Ferrari to come third from 5th. Wow, that is something else. And coming to the race, there are two tire strategies for each team, except for McLaren's MCL60 that had Piastri's car retired, and Lando Norris having 6 tire changes. That was something else. Mercedes continued with their woeful and awful lot of bunch of unexplainable performance today. At a point, they were lost in. They were there right on strategy, but at a point they were so confused because they thought they would have the race pace. The race pace was not there. They could not keep up with Aston Martin behind them. They could not keep up with Ferrari ahead of them. They were just confused to a point they didn't know if they should allow George Russell to go ahead of Lewis Hamilton, or they should leave Lewis Hamilton ahead, because both of them were suffering from tire degradation. They were struggling from tire degradation. They were both struggling with the tires, with the soft tires on their car. They came up with the hard tires. They had good tire control, and the tire degradation they've been having since last season came back haunting them. They told us last season the issue they were having with the tire degradation was the suspension. Now they've changed the whole front suspension and the rear suspension of the car. They are still having the same issue. The issue they were having last year, not to keep up with the pace, because we know they have a very strong engine, except we don't know yet the problem with McLaren, because that same engine that Mercedes had in their back is what Aston Martin are having in the back of their car. Is the same engine that Williams are having in the back of their at the back of their car is the same engine McLaren are having at the back of their car. And McLaren are having issues with cooling, with oils, and so loads of issues that Piastri had to retire his car, and Lando Norris had to pit 6 times to refuel. That was something else, and it's a pity Mercedes were able to give Lewis Hamilton second year in a row a car to win the championship. I think they've been having issues since they lost their team advisor in 2020, Niki Lauda. Since he died, Mercedes team has not been the same. And Toto Wolff having a lot of investment in the team. I don't know if he's confused or if he's not, if they're not getting it right. And I think I was part of the people that believed, because the concept, the podless concept on the car is they've run it for over a year, so they've told us they understood it, so they can move forward instead of changing to a new concept to run a new season. They should just continue with something that they've been working with and they know. But for now, I agree with Toto Wolff. Even before I agree with Toto Wolff, I would say it up loud. Mercedes needs to change that concept. That concept is worst. It is giving them issues. They are confused because they cannot generate downforce on the car. The car is not holding behind any car. Whenever the Mercedes is behind any car, they struggle to keep up to pace. They lose grip on their tires. They lose grip at the rear end of the car. They can't get the right DRS system to hang at the back of the car. They are just confused. In the confusion state, Ferrari too are having their own woes. Charles Leclerc, moving from his second position to third, lost his engine, and the engine was just changed this morning for the Grand Prix. The whole power unit, the electrical system and the ABS system was changed early in the morning before the race, because after his Q3 yesterday, he could not go out for another run to set another lap time to compete with the Red Bulls. But we were suspecting there was an engine issue, and which was true. The engine, the power unit system, and the electricals, everything was changed this morning. And that same engine that was changed this morning and the electrical system went out in the race. Ferrari, which left Carlos Sainz in the third position on the grid, only for Aston Martin to come from fifth behind Lewis Hamilton, to beat Lewis Hamilton to fourth and beat Carlos Sainz to third. Alonso is first to grid in F1 in over 10 years. That is great for them. And to also crown it off for the joy in Aston Martin, Lance Stroll, with injury on his leg and in his hand, could come fifth, beating Russell and getting close to Lewis Hamilton in the race. For Mercedes today and for Ferrari, I think they need to go back to the drawing board to look at what they are not getting right, especially Mercedes. The concept of their car is nonsense. The concept is pure nonsense. They need to change it. Ferrari's engine, or the sitting of the engine, or whatever they have as an issue, they need to fix it. They need to give us a competition this season. Last year was a no competition, giving Max Verstappen 12 straight wins. Not just 12 straight wins from the middle of the season to the end of the season. He won all the races. Abba. It's a competition now. It's a competition. It's not an entitlement. It's not an entitlement. So they should make this whole thing more competitive. And we know that Aston Martin will not be able to keep up with the pace, though Red Bull will be weary of the Aston Martin, but we know that the Aston Martin will not be able to keep up with the pace of the Red Bull, because even today, Max Verstappen led for over 12 seconds to win the race. Sergio Perez coming second led the Aston Martin with over 8 seconds. Abba, they cannot keep up. Though Lewis Hamilton gave a fight of his life in the race, George Russell gave a fight of his life in the race. Carlos Sainz gave a fight of his life in the race, but that was not enough for them to keep off the raging bull of the Aston Martin behind them. Also, one of the drivers that impressed today was Pierre Gasly, recovering from yesterday's time deletion and woeful qualifying yesterday to come from last on the grid, 20th on the grid, to come ninth on the grid. That was great for him. At Exxon F1, our main aim is to bring you the knowledge of Formula One, educate you, bring you the races, how it goes down, help you to understand it more. On our shorts, you'll be seeing some educational terminologies and words that are used during the race that you might not understand. And our long goal is to bring a Formula One race to Africa, possibly Nigeria, and also to educate people and to help in the knowledge transfer of getting Nigerians into some part of Formula One, the racing, which will take a long time because we need to have good karting category to challenge, to get drivers from the karting categories into the small formulas, the Renault formulas, Formula 4, and other formulas, because before we can get a driver to Formula 1. That might take a long time, but that is our goal, to be the bridge to help people realize their dream in Formula 1. Some people may not even know that is where they are meant to be, but our own main aim is to help them to navigate and realize that goal. And also to help people to grow in the engineering, the other administrative aspect of the game. If possibly a billionaire in Nigeria want to buy into to buy a team in Formula One or be one of the sponsors, so that they can see that we have the quality hands that will do it, which will also help in aiding how our engineering develop as a nation, because with young people, young graduates, or young entrepreneur, young engineers learning the engineering of Formula One, the CFD, the fluid dynamics, and all the parts of Formula One, we'll find ourselves growing in car development, because the cars you see today, most of the technologies are well tested in Formula One before they become today's technology. And if you have people there, it will help our technical know-how to build good mechanics, good engineers, and it also promotes the revenue generation for a nation. It's part of our dream to bring karting, to bring this race to Nigeria and to Africa also, and to help a young African, to help a young African to realize his dream, not just in Formula One, but being an engineer and being part of this world. It will also create a lot of employment for a lot of people, and this will take a lot of people out of the street. That is our main aim. That is why we have this channel. If there's a way you can support, we'd love you to come on board, work with us. I would love to work with you. Thank you.